Hi, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to our panel discussion today on the PGMS Certified Grounds Manager Program. My name is Brandon Haley, and I'll be our moderator today. And I am joined with Andy Moran, CGM, Senior Manager of Grounds at University of Pittsburgh, and our Certification Chair. Vince Jagodzinski, CGM, Corporate Grounds Manager at Stanley Black & Decker, and our Certification Co-Chair. Robin Wang, CGM, Grounds and Roads Supervisor at University of Calgary, and Stephanie Kroll, CGM, Landscape Designer and Consultant at Laura Stein Gardens. To give everyone a very brief overview of the Certified Grounds Manager Program, it is the premier certification program in the industry that's designed for grounds managers. And there are three parts to this process, starting with an application to determine your eligibility, the exam, and then the Professional Grounds Manager Evaluation, or the PGME, which you'll be hearing more about later. So with that being said, I would like to kick it off and send our first question to Robin. Robin, what made you interested in pursuing your CGM?
Yeah, so I first learned about CGM from PGMS website while I was trying to find a professional destination specific for grounds management. And because I really believe that having a professional destination is a really great way to help to validate my expertise in grounds maintenance. And also think that it also helps to show that I'm committed to delivering a professional result. And also, the second reason back then I was thinking was I really want to have like some easy access to a large network. I mean, I'm in Calgary, Alberta. There's a city about 1.3 million people here, and we have a few large organizations, a university here, and a few colleges, and probably we're only about 6 of us in this kind of type of work on a larger scale. And I remember once I just started, and I was trying to reach some students, trying to, hey, we should connect and talk about these things. Out of those 6, maybe only 2 are interested in. So having a CGM, having this thing, gave me the access to the large network of people who are really want to talk, who are ready to share with their experience, and also learning. I want learning from other fellow CGMs and learn their challenges and how they solve their problem. And also, of course, most importantly, if I got a problem, I want to ask them, hey, can you help me out? Learn something from them. And also, just going into the attending the PGMS, taking those courses. Those are professionally tailored, specific just for the grounds management from the grounds management society. So I think that's a big plus. So take those. And also, I'll leave this one to the last, but I think it will help me to further my my professional career. And hopefully I can get maybe a raise, and in the future, maybe get a promotion. That's kind of why I'm here.
I get it. I can second the networking. PGMS is known for its networking. That's always one of the top rated things of why people join and stay a member of PGMS. And I can speak from my own personal experience that the CGM group is a network inside of a network. It's all. I think we all have interaction with each other, and it's definitely been helpful to me. Stephanie, I'd like to throw the same question out to you as well. So, what made you interested in going after your CGM?
Thank you. I've been in grounds maintenance since 2006, and I was trained as a landscape architect. So initially, my predecessor, when I took the job at Indiana State, suggested that I join because he'd been a member for a long time. So I just followed suit there. But as I was there 12 years, and it helped in so many ways to help professionalize our entire crew. And kind of the best part, I think, was in grounds maintenance, a lot of times you're a little bit isolated, and just taking everybody to an event and getting together with a lot of other grounds professionals just open everybody's mind up to the fact that they're not isolated, and they're. A part of a professional, group that supports each other. So I think that just helped in so many ways over those years. And it helped me because having landscape architectural background, it helped me constantly with maintenance issues that I hadn't encountered and had no formal training for. So,
All right, great. Thank you.
mhm.
Vince, go to you here. What do you feel the benefit of earning your CGM has been to you in your career?
Thanks, Brandon, and thanks for moderating this. So sure, the CGM, the benefit that I've seen, especially with the career, is I've moved from a university into a manufacturer. It's a different level of professionalism. There's engineers, there's lawyers, there's executives every day. So it brings a different level of professionalism where I can tell the story about grounds and how we manage and how we maintain different items and what we need to do. But having certification behind your name definitely goes a long way in different professions. They know that there's something behind it, so it gives it legitimacy, and it's a little bit easier to tell that story. So that is probably the biggest thing that I've noticed. It was good as I was going through the university, but really in the manufacturing world and getting into a different kind of arena, this has allowed me to show the legitimacy of what we do as professionals. And it's not just going out and mowing or doing different mundane tasks. There's a lot to it, as even Stephanie was talking about with landscape architecture, or even Robin, as he talks about his responsibilities at Calgary. And as we get the Andy, you're going to hear everything that's going on there and all the uniqueness that we've got from him. So that CGM on the back end kind of shows everybody that how professional we are in this trade.
Awesome. Robin, I want to go back to you here. So I always felt when I was the certification chair that the hardest part of the process was getting started. How did you know you were ready to start this process?
Well, I want to say pretty much till I finished the test. I feel like, okay, I was actually ready. So, as soon as I finished that, I realized, I could have done this about 2 years ago. I mean, I started this one, I first learned about CGM in 2019, attending the on website, and then I started going into it while I was at the Louisville PGMS conference, or the conference. So, and then, so at the beginning, as soon as I talked to Brandon back then, I remember, I said, hey, Brandon, tell me something about the CGM. What should I do to get prepared? I said, yeah, you know what? I think the daunting part will be just to get it started. And that's exactly what happened. So I think at the very beginning, because I didn't really come from a horticulture background, never had a degree on those, and I was so worried that the test is so technical and almost need a horticulture degree to pass it. And so it's just like, if you can't really do the simple multiplication or division, can I do a calculus test? Probably not. So I was so worried about that. And so it just decided, what? No, I gotta do it. Or whatever, I'm gonna do it. So, and so I just say, okay, give me the test. I set up a timeline. So I wrote the test. And I didn't got a perfect score, and I don't want to make it sound like the test so easy, but I think if you can answer a question like, hey, is Calgary, Alberta in the United States? If you can answer that correctly, I think, you have a good chance that you can pass it. I'm not saying it's easy, but there are definitely some technical questions that I couldn't figure out at that time, but I would say, just lots of common sense. If you know the common sense, if you have a good common sense, you can do it. And then that's how I did it. Work from the test, I passed it.
Great.
But I learned lots of things from tests as well.
So you mentioned questions. So Andy, I'm going to bring you in on this. So what kind of questions should people be expecting to see on the exam?
So there's going to be questions that are related to chemicals and fertilizers, application rates, how much fertilizer, if you have this much square footage, how much fertilizer needs to go down of this particular ratio. There's going to be questions on insects and diseases. Again, same things, multiple choices. There's 75 multiple choice questions. There'll be questions on irrigation. There'll be questions about labor management, HR type of situations, soils, trees, and turf grasses. So pretty much, once you step outside, that's what the questions are going to be about, ranging from the soils all the way up to the trees.
Okay, and question we always get, how do you think people should study or prepare for the exam?
So preparing for the exam, I mean, and studying that comes a lot from just your experience. There is no official study guide. It's going to come from, your years of experience, being out there, boots on the ground kind of work, being in the office, dealing with the labor and the management side of it. And so, again, it's just all experience. If you wanted to study, researching soils or researching about trees, mathematics for the green industry specifically, that will help out for the calculation questions. But again, it's not something, you're going to feel that you are ready for it just by your experience. I think if you succeed in your daily job, you're going to be able to, do well on the test.
And I would agree as well.
Yep.
So, Andy, once someone's passed the exam, what's going to happen next?
All right. So once you pass the exam, you will now be ready for your PGME, which is the Professional Grounds Manager's Evaluation. And that is, say, the written portion of the test. You'll be given a calendar year, or you'll be given a year to do that. And you'll be assigned a mentor, and that mentor will guide you, help you. They'll answer questions so that you can submit a successful PGM report. And it's basically a PowerPoint with upwards of possibly 150 to 200 slides. And after you pass your exam, you'll also be given a packet, basically, through emails, of everything that's required. It's basically your outline. You follow the outline of all the sections that are required, and you'll be able to have a great PGME report that you turn in. There's also going to be a sample sent to you, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, what is my PowerPoint going to look like? Or I've never made a PowerPoint. So you'll be given an example of portions of a PGME, and that will help you guide, what yours should look like, the content. But it's almost you want to be very detailed. You want to have punctuation. You want to have spelling. You want to have clear pictures. You want to have your presentation counts just as much as your content does. So.
Okay, so I want to follow up a little more on the mentor program and kind of how that works. So, Vince, what exactly does a mentor do for the candidate, and how should that relationship work?
Right. Yeah, it's a great question. And I think it's one of the better pieces of this whole program because, again, it's peer-to-peer, which is fantastic. I will start off when I did my CGM, I had a great mentor. He was fantastic. He touched base with me. He made me feel comfortable. And I really do think that's what a mentor needs to be. It's somebody that's going to help you kind of find the way for yourself through this PGME, through the testing, through just basically day to day. It's 12 months, and it can definitely be something where you're in the last month and you're like, oh man, I'm way behind. But that constant contact, and it really is, again, I can't stress it enough, that peer-to-peer bouncing ideas off and just kind of going through. And yeah, there's some times where you have some hard conversations about, well, that just didn't stand up to what we're looking at. However, you grow from it. And the individuals that I've been able to mentor, and the privilege of it is watching them kind of finish off the process. Wow. Both people that I actually got to mentor, they've just run, and I think they were fantastic PGMEs. They were just There's spelling was correct, pictures were documented, the information was just robust. It was just again, professionalism. What are we as grounds professionals? And their PGMEs illustrated that from top to bottom. So that's a mentor is supposed to guide you through, be a sounding board, help you out.
Okay, and I know we typically try to get a mentor that's close by, but that's obviously not always the case. Robin, so you live out of the country. How did you handle your mentor not living close by to where you could just drive down and share information with them?
Well, I have to say, I got a really good mentor. He really kept me on track, but mainly, through telephones, conversation that we had on telephones, and nowadays we can Zoom, just so convenient, through basic virtual meetings, and that's just a fantastic way of doing this. Doing this way of mentoring. I mean, having meeting face-to-face meetings is great, but I think it worked out great between me and my mentor.
Awesome. I do want to throw out an answer to a question that someone had put out there. We do not currently have a practice test for the exam there. However, there are example questions in the certification handbook that is publicly available. So that can give you an idea of what the questions look like and kind of the way they're written, so you can be a little more comfortable with that. So once your mentor has been assigned, for Andy, what should someone expect for their PGME? Kind of what is that? What does the process look like?
So again, it's been mentioned a couple times. You get a 1 year, 12 months to start and finish and submit your PGME, and 150, 125 to 200 slides that include graphs, pictures, videos. With technology in your cell phones right now, it's so easy to take hundreds of pictures. So if you're looking to start or you're thinking about doing this, make sure you're taking pictures all the time. You're never going to know when you're going to need that picture, and even cataloging those pictures, because searching through 1,000, 2,000 pictures on your phone plus your family photos and all that stuff can be daunting sometimes. So even if you can save those pictures for this presentation, that would be great. There's going to be 9 sections that you will be documenting and explaining your facility. Those include budgets and finance, hardscapes and paving, irrigation, management skills, operations, inventory, safety and regulatory compliance, site operations, tree, shrubs, and ground covers, and turf management. So each one of those will have a section, and then in the outline that you received, it will tell you what needs to be presented in those sections. So you'll go through and basically like an index of a book, you'll put those sections within each category, include your pictures, be descriptive of your pictures. Again, quality pictures. You want to make sure that there aren't, safety issues in your pictures. Your guys should be wearing their safety equipment if you're going to be taking pictures, and that's all part of professionalism. If you're a professional ready to do this, a lot of those things you shouldn't even have to worry about. Those should come natural. Those pictures shouldn't have to be, we're not going to be doctoring up pictures and things like that. So, and then once you've completed and you've gone back and forth with your mentor, several times, and you feel confident, then you'll be submitting your PGME through a Dropbox, and then the committee will be grading that. So.
Okay, so I want to stay with you for a second, Andy. Sure. So obviously everyone's site is different, and some sites, are overly large and complex. Are there ways that people can break up really large sites to do a smaller area, or do they have to possibly do everything they maintain? How would you like for them to handle that?
No, that's perfectly reasonable. If you're managing a 6,000 acre site, or something just immense, you most likely have a section, the North Campus, the South Campus, something, so and so's garden. So it needs to be substantial. It can't be a little 1 acre garden, but it needs to be dozens of acres. But it can be a smaller portion within your complex.
Perfect. Thank you for
Yep.
that. So Robin, as someone who's recently gone through the process, how did you handle the PG&E, and what did kind of your finished product look like?
So I would say there's lots of hard work to put into to get the PG&E ready, and it depends on your personal situations. And but for me, I spent about a good half month just to do the write-ups. I'm not a really good a particular quick writer as well. So lots of weekends hours and after work hours. But pretty much as soon as I have the outline, I took a look at it. I read, I go through it and say, okay, that's what I need, and I just put it on the side. Okay, so I start taking photos first. So that's what I realized, that a lot of photos says a lot of things. So in Calgary, we only have 4 distinct seasons, and some of the seasons really short. So you don't want to miss a photo. Once you miss a photo, it's gonna be another year, and you're gonna pass the deadline. So I started right away taking photos and knowing what I need, and I waited until about 3 to 4 months after, and then I start doing the write-ups. And so I would say I just followed the outline strictly. And of course, with some other references, I do have another previous PG&E that I could refer to. So I kind of follow that structure as well. And some details, I never thought about I was going to put in, but I look at it, yeah, I should put it in. So that's how I did it. And yeah, so that's pretty much. And the end result, I pretty much, from what I understand, it looks, I really like it. I learned a lot from it. At the beginning of my job, I always think about, okay, I should do this, I should do that, I should put lots of numbers together. But this PG&E was really give me this opportunity to put things together, having really thought, okay, what we have been doing for the past 5 years, and get the numbers, and that's what we do, and it's there, and for any future reference.
Absolutely. Thank you. So Andy, go back to you here. Life happens. I know it happened to me while I was finishing my PG&E, and my mom passed away towards the very end of the process. If something comes up that impacts someone's deadline or their ability to finish it, what would happen?
Yeah. So again, like you said, life happens, and so we definitely understand that. And if you have a life-changing event, that's certainly understandable. So it's a simple phone call to PGMS headquarters, fill out a form, the extension request form, and then the certification committee will review that and grant an extension, based on the circumstances. There's varying time lengths because depending on the circumstance, but that's definitely understandable, and within reason.
That's great to hear, because I know it helped me. A year's a long time. A lot of things can happen. A lot of changes can happen, and that should
Certainly.
never be a hold up for someone going for this.
Correct. Yep.
So, Vince, another common question I know we get all the time. So, what does a potential CGM do if they are not responsible for a topic, or their property doesn't have examples of it? So how should they handle that in their PG&E?
Right. Yeah. Again, we run into those things quite often, don't we? So some of the things that I look at, and it's not simple, but this is also part of that learning curve as a manager or as somebody that is in charge of an area. You're going to go and you're going to speak to individuals that have the knowledge. either on your campus or experts within the field, and you're going to be talking to them saying, this is what I'm doing. I need to learn more about this. Can you help me with this? So it's about asking help to a peer. It's about extending that and trying to figure out what you might not know from somebody else that's out into the same general area that we are. So I use it as a nice tool to kind of go around, and you're going to be talking to different departments. You're going to be talking to different individuals and getting to understand what their role is, maybe within your organization or as a vendor or somebody outside your organization. It's a great opportunity to learn more about something that you just don't have a lot of knowledge on. So you just go out and you ask them. And you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephanie, I wanted to follow up with you. I know that you really weren't in charge of or had a lot of examples with turf when you did your PGME. So how did you handle that with yours?
Right. So, yeah, my training didn't include much of that at all. And I did, of course, attend, some training so that I knew the basic language and everything, but I also was able to hire and fortunate to find a specialist who was very experienced, and he basically did the management plan as far as how the turf was managed, and I included it in my PGME, but I did give him credit for, the fact that it was his plan, and that he was part of our team of specialists.
Makes sense. I know for me personally, the place where I was at, we did not contract anything out, and we didn't have contract specifications, and that's one of the things that had to be added in. So I had to develop those. I had our in-house legal department take a look, make sure they agreed with them, and use those as examples. Think outside the box, because a CGM, in our opinion, is valid anywhere in any situation. There's not different levels to based on what you're over. You're a certified grounds manager, so you should be able to use your resources and figure it out. So Andy, once someone has finished their PGME, they've gotten past the big hurdle, how's it graded? What's the final process entail?
All right, yeah. So now that weight is off your shoulder after a year of doing your PGME, you've submitted it to the committee. So the committee will select 2 CGM peers within our organization, and there is a rubric that is followed, and that is actually in the certification handbook. That's public knowledge, so you can actually look at that whenever you're working on your PGME to see what is going to be graded. So each category will be given a score of 1 to 4, with 1 at the bottom and 4 being good or the best. And then those numbers are all added together, and there's the point system. So you can get a maximum of 28 points. So between 22 and 28 points, you don't need to have any redos. You've passed your PGME, and you're going to become the next CGM. Between 14 and 21 points, there's some work. It's close, but there's some work that has to be done. So we'll send that back to you with a few comments, and you'll be given an extension redo date to send that back in. And you would work with your mentor if you feel the necessary, and you would redo the sections or the pages that need to be done and send that back in. Below 13 and below, unfortunately, it's lacking a lot of information, and you'll have to resubmit for your PGME, and you'll be given 1 year to redo that. So
okay, so and I do know that we definitely have had people that need to do some little things here and there. Sometimes I know it's even been as simple as a couple of pictures included some safety items, and they've had to go and kind of document some more things there. So if it gets sent back, I would say it's not it's common. It happens.
yeah, it's definitely common. Don't feel that you're the only one that ever has had one sent back. I mean, it's definitely common. Yeah, so that's not, and we'll give you a new deadline to complete that.
Yeah, because the end goal is that your PGME should be an example of that excellence. So, even if it's minor, we want to make sure that what you have is a document that is what you want to show other people as well.
And I also think Brandon will jump in real quick because Robin brought something up also that he learned a lot through his PGME. And I consider my PGME as a living document for my campus, right? So I modify it every once in a while. I use it as a point to go back and say, hey, team, this is what we were kind of thinking, in 2020. What are we looking at in 2024? Have we hit some of these targets? And then we're able to use it. So it's a living document. And I think that's something that's been kind of cool with the CGME is that we can continue it through and adjust it and modify it as you grow.
Absolutely. So another just comment that I want to throw out to people is, I kind of mentioned it earlier, the hardest part is submitting your application. Posted in the chat was the link to the information. So if you want to know what the criteria are for applying, that is listed on that site. You can fill the application out online. It's not overly hard to fill out the application, and the criteria is fairly upfront. But obviously, if you have questions, everyone's situation's a little different, especially when it counts to what counts as a year of you're being a supervisor or whatever. We understand that. Please ask. That you can always ask questions, and all of these applications are reviewed, and they will, if there's questions, they'll be asked back at you. So I'd please tell you to take a look at that link, and if you have any questions after that, contact us. But at this point, I'd like to throw out any questions from the group, in case there's people out there listening that haven't already asked your question. Is there anything we can help you with or answer to help you with this process? I see one for funding assistance. What exactly what is the current cost, guys, on the CGM program?
So for PGMS members, the application fee is $200. For non-members, it's $300.
Okay. Yeah, that I know of, there is no funding assistance from PGMS. I'm not saying that there couldn't potentially be some arrangements made if we needed to spread some payments out or something, but that would be outside of my control. So at this point, I would probably say no, that there's not any funding assistance. Thank you for the question, though. Do we have any others?
Brandon, I just want to say one other thing that I may have not have mentioned about the grading.
Right.
It is about a 6 to 8 week process. So it does take a little bit of time because, again, it's volunteers that are out doing their job, volunteering to grade your PGME. So depending on the time of the year, it could take 6 to 8 weeks to get you back an answer, which I know sometimes is that might be more stressful than actually doing the PGME. But we have to understand that everybody's out doing their job in addition to grading a PGME. So
yeah, and Andy, to that point, right? They put all that time into their PGME. The graders take a lot of time to grade it and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. As being one of them at one point, I know that it's something that we take a lot of time and careful negotiation through that process to make sure that we hit everything, because you guys put a lot of time into those. So it's going to be a little bit of a turnover, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
exactly.
So we had another one asking if there were any testing facility requirements. So no, the test is available through a computer, and there has to be a proctor there while you test. I know that a HR representative, I believe your supervisor, also can act as a proctor. Vince or Andy, are there any other people?
HR and supervisor would be the best. As a general overall, for classifications of everybody's job. So think that'd probably be the two best job
Uh,
titles.
I would agree. I think if that can't work for some reason, reach out to us. I know we offered testing live this past year at our conference. If there's CGMs in your area, we may be able to arrange something. So if that's an issue, please reach out to PGMS. Again, we don't want you being able to take the test to be a holdup. We will figure something out and work with you.
And the proctor is self-designated, so you as the applicant choose your proctor.
Yeah, I remember my supervisor was staring at me the entire time. He made it a point to not break eye contact for the entire 50 minutes just to see if he could mess with me. Well, so we currently don't have any more questions, and I would just like to let everyone know, if you have any further questions, please feel free to send them to info@pgms.org, and we will make sure to get an answer back to you.
And actually, sorry, Brandon, we do have
Yeah.
one additional question in
really?
the Q&A.
Oh.
And it's just from Eric clarifying the eligibility requirements. And yes, Eric, you are correct. You need to meet one of the 3 requirements that are listed on the website.
Yeah, so Eric, I'm assuming you're talking about the education and experience requirements. So there's a sliding scale. If you have this level of education, you need this many years of experience, and going down. Yeah, that is listed on the website, and yes, you do need to reach one of those. So thank you for pointing that out, Amy. So, all right. Well, I want to thank all of you for attending. And again, any future questions you may have, please feel free to reach out. We want to help you be successful. And we look forward to a few of you becoming our next CGM. So thank you all, and please have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks, Brandon.